Hello everyone, welcome once again to IELTS with Messi. I hope you have had such a phenomenal day so far. I am more than happy to be able to do another episode to share with you all. So in this lesson, we're going to be talking about IELTS Speaking Test, its procedure, how it is done, the marking criteria, the do's and don'ts, and of course some common topics and questions that frequently appear in this speaking test. So let's see how it happens. You need to know that the speaking test is in person, face to face, with an examiner in a quiet room. So it might sound a little bit scary to some people, but in reality, everything is supposed to be informal and allegedly friendly, with the examiner encouraging you to keep speaking. It might also be a bit tricky to those who have never taken part in an interview. And my suggestion as to how to improve your performance is to practice and to simulate similar interviews to make sure that you are supremely self-confident, being able to talk on any subject, be it familiar or even rather unfamiliar. Please also note that there is only one kind of speaking test for all candidates. In other words, both academic and general training candidates take the same speaking test. Now, you might take the speaking test on the same day or up to 7 days before or after your written test date, and it really depends on the local arrangements of your test center. IELTS speaking test is always recorded. This certainly shouldn't worry you, as the recording is used to evaluate the examiner, not you. The organizers of the test will use the recording to ensure your test was fair and also to re-evaluate it in case you should ask for a remark later. So we have analyzed the way the test is done. Now let's talk about the duration and the various parts of the test. The test will last between 11 and 14 minutes, where you will discuss a variety of topics with an IELTS examiner. The face-to-face oral interview is held in 3 parts. Initially, the examiner will introduce himself or herself and ask you to introduce yourself and confirm your identity. Following the greeting, your ability to communicate opinions and information on everyday topics and common experiences is put to test. As such, part 1 of IELTS speaking consists of questions about you, your family, your work, and other general questions in the form of an interview. This should last between 4 and 5 minutes. This is then followed by an individual long turn lasting between 3 and 4 minutes. The examiner will give you a task card, also known as a cue card, which asks you to talk about a certain topic, usually a descriptive one, and includes points that you can cover in your talk. Please bear in mind that these points are all optional and you do not have to cover all of them, and you really don't have to talk about them in order. You will also be given a pencil and a piece of paper to make notes in 1 minute. Remember not to write on the task card. Use your 1 minute preparation time to brainstorm ideas and make some quick notes in the form of a mind map, relevant expressions and phrases, but not complete sentences. Then you must talk for 1 to 2 minutes on the topic. Part 2 typically culminates with the examiner asking you 1 or 2 questions on the same topic. In this part, your ability to talk at length while organizing your ideas coherently is assessed. In the last part of the test, that is part 3, a 2-way discussion is administered lasting between 4 and 5 minutes. The questions raised in this part are thematically related to the topic of part 2. They allow you to discuss more abstract issues and ideas. This is going to be a discussion between you and the examiner. The questions do not focus on you, so make sure to give general answers to part 3 questions. And obviously, don't talk about yourself. Accordingly, you need to use words and phrases which show that you are making general points. Please also remember that this part sets out to evaluate your ability to express and justify opinions, to analyze, discuss, and speculate. This means that you have to presume there is a why or why not question after the asked one. You also need to know that your speaking is marked according to performance descriptors. Examiners award a band score for each of 4 areas with equal weighting. A. Fluency and coherence, meaning how clear and well organized your speaking is. B. Lexical resource, meaning how good your vocabulary is. C. Grammatical range and accuracy, meaning how good and accurate your grammar is. And D. Pronunciation, meaning how natural you sound and whether your pronunciation is accurate. Let us not forget that as long as your pronunciation is clear and accurate, it doesn't matter which accent you have. Now, let's have some sample questions typically asked in Part 1. At the same time, please pay attention to the way the candidate manages to provide answers which are both relevant and coherent using various collocations and grammatical structures.
Tell me something about your family.
Although I live abroad now, my mum's family is from Paris and my dad's family is from Toulouse, so I'm from a very French family. I would say I come from quite a small family, really. For example, I just have one older sister and 4 cousins, but it's true that my extended family is fairly big.
What do you like doing most with your family?
I like having nice long meals with good food and good wine, and a few jokes for dessert.
Who are you close to in your family?
In my family? Well, I'm close to my Uncle Jacques. He's a chef. He's hilarious, always telling jokes. And he's very enthusiastic about everything he does. We spent a lot of time together when I was growing up. In fact, he helped to bring me up.
In what way is your family important to you?
My family is everything to me. They are my best friends. They support me when things aren't going well, and when things are going well. I know they'll always be there for me, no matter what.
Now, let's turn to Part 2. As you may recall, in this part, you are provided with a cue card. You have 1 minute to plan your answer and to make notes if you wish. Then, you need to talk for 1 to 2 minutes. Let's have a sample topic related to friendship. Describe a close friend. You should say how long you have known this person, how you met, what kind of person he or she is, and explain why you like him or her.
One of my best friends is a guy called Raul. I met him at uni in Barcelona, where we were in the same study group. When was that? I suppose it was over 10 years ago now, so yes, we've known each other for a good decade. We got to know each other on the tennis courts because the first few days of our course were so boring that we both decided we'd be better off outside playing tennis. What kind of person is he? Well, he's very active, a sporty type, involved in hiking and mountain biking, a bit of an adrenaline junkie. He's also a very determined person. When he gets into something, he gives 100%. And he changes passions often. That makes him a bit of a self-absorbed person, actually, which I'd say is a drawback. And I think he comes across as full of himself sometimes. I mean, a bit too sure of his own opinions. As for why I like him, well, he's actually quite different from me. At uni, he'd often suggest doing something and I'd go along with it. And because I'm laid back, I never felt overwhelmed by him. We've never fallen out or anything.
How often do you see your friend?
Well, because we live in different countries, we don't see each other that often. But we try to catch up on a fairly regular basis, say 3 times a year.
Now, you are going to hear questions that are typical of Part 3 of the test. Please remember that in this part you need to provide general answers in response to the questions raised.
What do you expect from a good friend?
For me, a good friend has to be reliable. I can't stand being stood up or having my emails and texts ignored. As well as that, a friend should be someone you can have good fun with. There are many things in life to be serious about, but friendship shouldn't be one of them. I also believe that opposites attract, in friendships just as in romance, so a good friend will most likely be very different from you in many ways.
Are friends as important to you as family?
No, I wouldn't say so. Friends come and go, but family are always there, whether you like it or not. You can even be rude to your family, not that it's advisable, of course, and they will forgive you. But sometimes you've known a friend for so long, they can become like a family member. You can really be yourself with them, and you may even argue quite often, like siblings do.
Do you think friendships change as we get older?
Well, I definitely find that I have less in common with some friends than I used to. I sometimes wonder what we used to find to talk about. And so you often grow apart from old school friends or old colleagues. The people I feel I have most in common with are friends I met at university. I'm not sure why, but we somehow always have lots to talk about.
So that's all about it. I appreciate your attention and support. Stay tuned for the upcoming episodes. Till next time, bye bye for now.